A young waitress, barely making ends meet, made a generous choice. She used the last of her cash to pay for a grieving widow's meal. To her, it felt like just another tough shift. But 2 days later, everything changed when a lawyer showed up at her doorstep carrying an air of mystery and life-altering news. Hey there, and welcome to Life Tales. Let's dive in. Maya, a 23-year-old woman, worked full-time at a cozy spot called the Bluebells restaurant. Her journey hadn't been easy. When she was just 16, her father passed away, leaving her as the sole support system for her ailing mother, who was already battling a severe illness. With her father gone, Maya had no choice but to juggle multiple part-time jobs while still attending high school. And when graduation came, instead of joining her friends in college, she continued working to keep the household afloat and take care of her mother. To make matters worse, her mother was physically disabled and unable to contribute much. Her only income was a small disability check which barely covered the basics. After bouncing between several jobs over the years, Maya eventually landed a steady position as a waitress at Bluebells, where her bright spirit quickly made her a favorite among coworkers and customers alike. Regulars at the restaurant were especially fond of Maya. They appreciated her warm demeanor, her welcoming smile, and the way she could lighten the mood with her goofy jokes. Over time, she earned herself a nickname, the Happy Waitress. With her cheerful presence, few could have guessed the weight Maya was carrying. Behind the constant smiles was a young woman grappling with emotional strain, mental exhaustion, and constant financial pressure. But she never let any of that show. While some of her fellow waitresses would avoid taking on extra shifts, Maya often volunteered to work overtime. She needed every dollar she could earn. In fact, she frequently asked her manager for more hours. Still, no matter how worn out she was, Maya never broke character. She stayed kind and patient, even with the most difficult customers. One evening, during her shift, Mrs. Dorothy, one of their longtime regulars, walked into the restaurant. It was clear from her expression and demeanor that she was still mourning the recent loss of her husband. "Good evening, Mrs. Dorothy. How are you today?" Maya greeted her with her usual warm smile. "I'm doing okay, thank you." "And you?" Mrs. Dorothy replied. "I'm hanging in there too," Maya said gently. "Here's the menu. Just let me know what you'd like, and I'll make sure it's out in no time." She handed over the menu with care. Mrs. Dorothy didn't respond right away. She quietly flipped through the pages, and when she reached a certain section, her hand froze and tears began to form in her eyes. "Is everything okay?" Maya asked softly, sensing her pain. "Yes, sweetie, I'm all right. It's just seeing his favorite dish here brought back memories," Mrs. Dorothy said, her voice trembling slightly. Maya didn't need any more explanation. She knew she was talking about her late husband, Arthur. The two of them used to come in together all the time, clearly smitten with each other. Not sure what to say, Maya gently placed a comforting hand on Mrs. Dorothy's shoulder and offered her a napkin. "Here, take this," Maya said kindly. "Oh dear, I didn't mean to drag you into my sorrow," Mrs. Dorothy said, managing a faint smile through her sadness. "No, please don't worry. I lost my dad when I was 16. I really do understand," Maya replied, her voice filled with empathy. "You still miss him, don't you?" Mrs. Dorothy asked. "Every single day," Maya said with a soft nod. "Now, how about we get you something comforting to eat?" "All right. I'll go with this one. Just add a little extra cheese, please," Mrs. Dorothy said, pointing to the menu. "Got it. I'll put that in for you right away," Maya responded as she turned to place the order. Not long after, Maya returned with the hot meal, carefully placing it in front of her guest. "Thank you so much, Maya. You really are such a sweetheart," Mrs. Dorothy said with genuine warmth. "And you're just as lovely." "Enjoy your meal," Maya said, beaming. Since they were familiar with each other, Maya sat for a brief moment and chatted with Mrs. Dorothy before heading off to tend to other tables. About 10 minutes later, she came back to clear the plate, and that's when the unexpected occurred. "Oh no, I think I might have left my wallet at home," Mrs. Dorothy said, concerned. "Give me just a moment, I'll run back and grab it." "There's no need for that," Maya said quickly. "It's a long walk back to your place. I'll cover it, don't worry about a thing." "Oh honey, you don't have to do that. You were just telling me earlier how tough things have been for you lately," Mrs. Dorothy reminded her gently. "It's all right, really," Maya replied with a smile. "You're a friend, and this is the least I can do." Realizing she wouldn't win the argument, Mrs. Dorothy smiled, thanked Maya sincerely, and left. What no one knew was that Maya only had $15 left in her purse, the exact amount to cover Mrs. Dorothy's bill. After paying for the meal, She didn't even have enough left for bus fare. So that night, she quietly walked home, not saying a word to anyone. She didn't think much more about it after that. To her, it was just something she could do to help someone hurting. But fate had other plans. 2 days later, something unexpected happened. It was a quiet Sunday morning, and Maya was in the kitchen making breakfast for her mom when a knock sounded at the front door. "Who is it?" she called out from the stove, but there was no reply. "Mom, could you get the door for me, please?" Maya called out from the kitchen. A moment later, her mom returned and said, "Maya, there's a man at the door asking for you. Did he mention who he is?" Maya asked, wiping her hands on a towel. Her mother shook her head silently. Wasting no time, Maya headed for the front door. "Good morning, Miss Maya." The man greeted politely. "My name is Brian Lewis. I'm here on behalf of my client, Dorothy Bennett." "Dorothy? Oh no, is she all right?" Maya asked anxiously. "She's doing perfectly fine," Brian reassured her with a calm tone. "She actually asked me to deliver this to you," he added, handing her a sealed envelope. "What's this about? Is everything okay?" Maya asked, her voice filled with confusion. But as she opened the envelope and saw what was inside, her eyes widened. "Oh my God! Why is there so much money?" She didn't offer an explanation, only said that you'd understand once you saw it, the lawyer replied. And in that instant, Maya did understand. The moment she saw the money, she knew it was Mrs. Dorothy's way of saying thank you. "No, please, this is too much. She doesn't need to do this," Maya said quickly, trying to hand the envelope back. "I'm afraid I can't accept it," Brian said gently. She was very firm. "She insisted this go directly to you." Maya's eyes welled up with tears. "But it doesn't have to be like this," she whispered emotionally. Then, without thinking, she stepped forward and hugged the attorney. "Please tell her thank you," she said, her voice cracking. "And let her know I can't wait to see her back at the restaurant." Thanks to Mrs. Dorothy's incredible generosity, Maya was able to leave her job at Bluebells and open her very own cafe, a cozy space where her warmth and dedication to others became the secret to its instant success. Whenever her cafe was closed, Maya devoted her time to college classes, chasing the dream she had long set aside. It was a dream she could now afford to pursue. Her new financial freedom also allowed her to give her mother the care she truly needed. Maya hired a professional caregiver to help out at home, ensuring her mom was comfortable and looked after while she focused on her education. Even though she no longer worked at Bluebells, Maya never lost touch with her roots. She poured her energy, heart, and soul into building her cafe from the ground up. And not long after, Mrs. Dorothy became one of her regulars once again. Each time they saw each other, Mrs. Dorothy would greet her with the same warm smile and a simple phrase that stuck with Maya: "Kindness always comes full circle, my dear." One quiet afternoon, while Maya was serving coffee to a few familiar faces, she noticed Mrs. Dorothy sitting alone at a corner table, smiling as she always did. Maya paused for a moment, taking in the hum of happy conversation and the comforting smell of fresh coffee that filled her cafe. She looked around at everything she had built and thought to herself, none of this would have happened if I hadn't made that one small choice to help someone in need. And in that moment, Maya understood something powerful, that even the smallest act of kindness has the potential to change not just one life, but many. Enjoyed this story? Don't forget to tap the like button and subscribe for more heartwarming stories just like this. And be sure to check out the next video on your screen. You won't want to miss what's coming up. See you soon.